another action-packed day of protecting our Hero Plaza from evil robots?
Just in case it wasn't obvious that this is supposed to be a crossover involving everyone's favorite cocky blue hedgehog, let's have KO replicate a bunch of Sonic's iconic poses right off the bat to seal the deal.
Sorry, KO. We stayed up all night playing videos game.
What kind of game could be so addicting that it would practically force Rad and Enid to pull an all-nighter? Was it Fortnite? I bet it was Fortnite. Also, video game addiction. Wait, should I actually say videos game addiction? Why did they even say it like that? The comic that this kid steals from her friend happens to be issue 2 of Sonic Quest, which was a 3-issue miniseries of comics produced by Archie in the late 90s. I can appreciate the obscure callback here, but my question is, why the hell is she reading a 20-plus-year-old comic strip that most of the Sonic community doesn't even remember anymore? Hell, I didn't even know this series of comics existed until I looked it up for this video. Also, I think it's worth noting that this blue cat character happens to be named Genesis, akin to the said console where the first Sonic game made its debut. Now, if this doesn't scream irony, then I don't know what will. I swear this had to have been done on purpose. Sonic is addicted kids. Okay, so I'd just like to point out that we now have a show where the characters from Captain Planet, Scooby-Doo Ghoul School, all the Cartoon Network characters from Crossover Nexus, and now Sonic are all considered canon within the same universe. And they say Infinity War is the most ambitious crossover event in history. Can't wait for the epic climax where Eggman teams up with Boxman, collects the Chaos Emeralds, and then tells KO he should have gone for the head to add insult to injury. Oh, and also have Carol disintegrate right in front of him to really add to the emotional impact.
Whoa! You be careful now, kid. Can't have anyone getting hurt on my watch.
You just spin dashed into her 3 seconds ago. They fangirl over Sonic just like how middle schoolers fangirl over their favorite teenage boy band.
Are you the legendary Sonic the Hedgehog with a power level of Ring?
The one and only?
The one and only? So, do these guys just not exist anymore?
I have a whole notebook of fan art I've made of you. This one's from when you destroyed the Death Egg, and this one's from when you fought the Ultimate Life Form.
KO is the perfect representation of every aspiring Sonic artist showing their crappy drawings on DeviantArt. Where are Sonic and Shadow supposed to be fighting exactly? Judging by the color palette, I assume that it's meant to be the arc from Sonic Adventure 2, and this is the climatic battle between Sonic and Shadow just before the final story. If this is true, then couldn't have KO picked a different color for the background other than light gray? It took me a minute to realize they were actually in space. Why not something more noticeable, like a dark blue or purple or something? Also, while we're on the topic of Adventure 2, I'd just like to point out that KO had the perfect opportunity to have Shadow say his horribly cheesy, "I'm the coolest" line right here, but missed it. Real shame.
This is from when you won the summer and winter sports games.
Well, since we're talking about Sonic's appearances in other games besides his own, why doesn't KO bring up the time where he saved everyone from Taboo in the Subspace Emissary? Now that would have been golden.
I really respect a kid with encyclopedic knowledge of my achievements. Not enough people like that in this world.
Hello? What about me?
Yeah, and just completely ignore all the other friends who've done the same thing as well. Knuckles, Amy, Blaze, they all mean nothing to him now apparently. Dick.
What's your name, kid?
KO!
Well, KO, how'd you like to be my new little buddy?
Character who looks up to someone is then asked by that same person if they would like to become their buddy/sidekick cliche.
Wow! Nice to know I'm so easy to replace.
But I have one condition, that you bring me one of Gar's famous chili dogs.
Really? That's the best explanation they can conjure up as to why Sonic is in KO's world? Not to destroy an animal capsule, find a Chaos Emerald, or maybe stop Eggman from causing some weird interdimensional time travel shit. No. Instead, he comes all the way to the bodega just for a f***ing chili dog. How original.
Chili dog?
This joke, if it can even be called that, is so unfunny and forced that it's straight up Emoji Movie material. Right up there with the equally terrible "We're number 2" and "He's a knucklehead," literally, lines. And the fact that I'm even comparing this to the Emoji Movie should further justify the 5 extra sins the scene is worth alone.
Are you sure this guy's little buddy material?
Don't be weird, Tails.
Sonic pushes Tails to the side in this shot, but then somehow reappears from the top in the next shot. I get this is supposed to be an homage to how he dies and reappears in Sonic 2, but I don't care. Logically, it still makes no sense, so I'm still sending this shit regardless.
We disguised ourselves as a two-dimensional image, and you fell for it!
Speaking of being illogical, since when did Daryl have the ability to pretend to be a PNG image from a flyer and magically jump out of it? Also, it's worth noting here that Daryl's main mission was to capture Sonic and bring him the Boxman. And even though he was hiding in the flyer that Sonic himself was holding, and that he was right f***ing behind him when he jumped out, his first instinct was to go for Rad and Enid. I know this was just to advance the plot, but how stupid do you have to be to mistake two people who you practically see almost every day for one blue hedgehog? This is even worse than that time in Sonic 06 where Amy mistakes Silver for Sonic. How do you get the idea that they look even slightly similar? He's Silver, both literally and figuratively. Daryl straight up said got him, just like the D's Nuts guy, and now I'm never going to be able to unhear that.
Okay, KO.
Roll credits. Huh. Daryl was literally moving around at the speed of sound. Nice touch.
Tails!
How exactly is Tails able to throw these rings to Sonic like this? The last time I checked, once they grab a ring, it disappears in their system and doesn't come out until they take damage, in which it scatters. So what, suddenly he could just magically choose whether he wants to hold on to them or not? I know I'm probably digging way too deep into this, but it just bugs me is all. Boxman has a drawer full of rubber ducks.
And I can't let that happen to the fastest, bluest,
Foot worship. Okay, there is no way KO could have gotten that much momentum by sliding off the loop at the angle he was at. If he were to stop maybe right here, then it would make more sense. But at the rate he was at, the least he could have gotten was sliding off somewhere near the beginning of the loop.
Would you mind explaining your technique?
I don't know, you just do it. It's just one of those things that can't be explained.
Being able to do something that comes naturally without any technical explanation as to how to do it cliché.
Sonic.
Oh, yeah. Just holler when you figure it out.
Cute homage to that one scene from the Sonic OVA movie, but it doesn't include the infamous
Shut up, Tails!
line, and for that, I'm deeply disappointed.
This poor kid has no idea how to be a sidekick.
You want to talk about bad sidekicks? Just spend a day with Eric Sparrow from Tony Hawk's Underground, then talk to me. Trust me, there's a good reason why he got eaten by that weird sewer monster thing in the Neversoft intro. Also, couldn't Tails just pick up Sonic and KO, fly in between the loop-de-loop, and carry them over to the exit? Instead of wasting time involving spin dash fails, talking about special techniques and confidence boosts. And before you argue the fact that the combination of their weight would be too heavy for him, just remember he was able to do this shit in Sonic Heroes, and hell, he even does the exact same thing near the end, so I don't see anything as to why he can't do it here.
You got it!
These rings just magically show up on the loop after not appearing on it earlier. Also, what kind of purpose would those rings even have for KO? He's not like Sonic where he dies after being hit without them, and I doubt they would even work as a form of currency in his world. Apart from being just a cute visual gag, I really don't see any other point to this.
This old thing, rodent. I convinced the little red fellow that I needed to borrow it for a museum exhibit. He sure was gullible.
You don't say.
Okay, I know Knuckles is supposed to be stupid, but he's not that stupid. He would never purposely give the Master Emerald to someone he's never seen before and take their word about how they needed it for a museum exhibit. However, this whole conversation about Knuckles still being a gullible dimwit is pretty hilarious, so I'll take off a sin for it. You got lucky, guys.
It works wonders powering my latest evil contraption, the Roboti Makey Machine.
Roboti Making Machine.
Does it make robots?
Oh, you ruined my surprise!
Technically, it's not even a surprise if your invention blatantly tells you what it's supposed to do, so this point is invalid. Fuck me, this whole chase sequence between Sonic and KO is a joy to look at. The action, the animation, the whole Sonic CD-esque aesthetics? I know I'm not alone when I say I wouldn't mind a new Sonic show in this kind of animation style. It's funny to me that the KO crew knows how to handle Sonic better than Sega and Paramount do, so they deserve a send-off for their efforts.
There is only one little buddy.
Is he referring to Tails here? Because throughout this whole episode, not once did Sonic or KO mention him as a little buddy. Yeah, I know, I'm being way too literal at this point, but still.
Sonic, no!
Okay, we clearly saw Metal KO shorting out in the water just a few seconds ago, and considering the fact that water and electricity never get along, logically Sonic should have been f***ing toast the moment he jumped in here.
Alright, Tails! You're the greatest sidekick a guy could ask for.
I thought KO was your sidekick now.
Dude, what? KO's my little buddy. You know, like Cream the Rabbit.
I love her!
Now, I can kind of understand why Sonic would bring up a character like Cream the Rabbit in this kind of situation, but it's just odd to me that out of nowhere he mentions a character that hasn't had an appearance in any mainstream Sonic title since Sonic Generations, 8 years prior to this. And no, Sonic Runners doesn't count. This face.
Yawn. Alright, I think we're done here. Let's go, Tails.
Just a few moments ago, Sonic was having the time of his life getting to know KO better, but now that he defeated Boxman and reclaimed the Master Emerald, he's just like, f*** it, let's go home now.
And stock some chili dogs for me next time, yeah?
I still don't know what that is, but okay.
KO's world has out-of-the-ordinary foods like lightning nachos, but he still has no clue what chili dogs are supposed to be. Of course, out of all the classic Sonic media they could have brought back for the ending segment of this episode, they had to pick Sonic Says. Something about seeing Sonic in this position is making me really uncomfortable.
And that's no good.
Since this is an homage to Sonic Says, they had no choice but to include the iconic "That's no good" line because it's basically considered a crime if they don't.
Nice to know I'm so easy to replace.